What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do something that was inspired by somebody else's channel, actually, and it is 8 fountain pen questions. Now, about a year ago, somebody made up this list of 8 fountain pen questions, basically kind of just trying to kind of encapsulate or somehow, summarize your hobby into 8 questions, your fountain pen hobby into 8 questions. And somebody recently, I saw a video where they did 8 more. And it was actually 8 different questions about a year later. So, whatever, let's do it. Because it's fun to talk about this stuff. And I thought they were pretty good questions. So, let's just jump straight into them. The first one, do you have different uses for different pens? My answer to that is yes. So I have basically kind of a daily writer pen, which is going to be my Lamy 2000. So it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It doesn't matter. This is kind of my do everything, do it all pen. And this has a color in it that is kind of easy to get along with and just to use for kind of everything. So that's sort of my casual pen, if you will. Of course, then we have my dress pen. You're going to see this a couple of times today. My Mont Blanc 149. I really love this pen. Man, for me, it's worth the hype. It lives up to the hype, and I absolutely love it. We'll get into why in a few minutes because it's going to come up again. And then the other pen, I would say, because I fly a lot, is my Pilot 823 because you can lock it down, and it ends up having it's another very good daily writer because it's got a lot of capacity. The nib this pen is effortless to write with. It uses a lot of different inks very well. And I just really, really like it. And then I guess for playing around, if that makes sense, and this is going to come up again later, a TWSBI Eco, because this is the new coffee color one. They cooperate so well with so many different kinds of inks. And so I really like the TWSBI Eco for that. So there's a few kind of different purposes. Question number 2. How do you choose the inks and the pens that you will use next? Okay, so a lot of that has to do with, there's going to be some always inked up pens for me. Mont Blanc 149, Lamy 2000, a TWSBI of some sort. Those are going to kind of always be inked up for me. The other one, let's see, this is my other little pen roll. Let's bring this over here. So my Vanishing Point, this is on my desk all the time. So this is kind of always going to be inked up for me as well. When it comes to choosing the other ones, sometimes it's a matter of what inks I'm going to experiment with. Sometimes it's just a new pen. I haven't had this Leonardo Momento Magico, is that what these are called? The piston version one. This is a Gold Spot exclusive. I just haven't had this pen very long, so I have been enjoying writing with it. As far as inks go, we buy a lot of inks and we experiment with a lot of inks. To me, the inks are almost more fun than the pens because you start to really enjoy certain pens and you sort of go back to them. If you've watched any of my currently inked videos, you'll see that I kind of go back to some of the same ones, obviously, like we just talked about. And so I like to experiment with inks a lot. And so I will just play, literally just play for the purpose of playing. Like, hey, I wonder what this is going to be like. And I wonder what it's going to be like in this different pen. And so I do a lot of that. So I don't really have a rhyme or reason. We mentioned earlier that some of the daily writers are going to have kind of some easy to get along with inks in them so that they are, so that they're easy and that they work well and that they can, that are easy writing and easy cleaning inks. Let's see. Number 3, which pen do you prefer for longer writing sessions? This may surprise you, but it's my 149. My Mont Blanc 149. And the reason for it is the nib is very wet, and I really enjoy wet, and I really enjoy smooth, and it's very, very bouncy, and it's got a big section. and I like a big section. I like a fatter section than a thinner one. So, for example, if you compare the section widths of a Lamy 2000 with a Mont Blanc 149, they're very, very different, right? And also, I can write with this pen a long time too, but I think I have gravitated towards, for longer writing sessions, a larger section. But not a heavy pen, and this pen is not heavy, but it's just big. And I like the big. And I like the big nib because it keeps the pen further away from the paper, my hand further away from the paper. So I guess the ergonomics of a big pen with a long nib is my thing for longer writing sessions, which is kind of interesting. What is your all-time favorite fountain pen? Okay, this is a tough question. Obviously, this is one of those like your favorite children sort of questions. I have to give you a runner-up to each other would be my Lamy 2000 and my Mont Blanc 149 for gold nib pens. If I had to choose between these two, and if I was going to like desert island it, it would probably be the Lamy 2000 because it's just so good and it's heavy duty and I don't mind using it for in more circumstances. I'm more precious with my 149 obviously. And so I don't have to be as precious with my 2000 and I can just, use it whenever, wherever, and I have no problem with that. So that's, I would say, if we could knock it down to these two, and then this one would be it. That's for gold nib pens. I've thought this is a little bit of a cheat, but let's knock it down to gold versus steel. And the question is very easily answerable, and that is a Leonardo Memento Zero. In a steel nib, these pens are phenomenally good. These two pens are both, this is the Abalone Jonathan Brooks, and this is the Primary Manipulation 4.5. This one's out of stock at Atlas Stationers, but this one I think they still have some available. For what they cost, they're phenomenally good. The workmanship, I talk about these all the time. The workmanship is fantastic. Even if you don't like this color, get one of these Leonardo Memento Zeros. Just like everything else, I'll leave links to everything in the description so that you can go try them out, or you can go see how much they cost or decide if there's something that you want to do. But for steel nibs, these are my two favorite. All right, let's do question number 5. If you had to choose one nib size, what would it be? Medium. That's pretty easy for me, medium. Question number 6. What is your favorite nib grind? That's another easy question. I've not really tried any crazy nib grinds. Of course, I've tried, extra fine, fine, medium, broad, double broad, stubs, so I've tried that stuff, but not actual grinds, like having somebody custom grind a pen. I do have an appointment with Kurt Spear at the Atlanta Pen Show to get some work done on my Visconti Homo Sapiens, but I think I'm just going to have him tune it. I don't think I'm going to have him do a funky grind on it. I just want him to make it a little wetter than it is. So I don't necessarily have any custom grinds. I did have Gina Salarino do some work on at Custom Nib Studio. I think that's what her thing is called, on my Pilot Custom 74. I bought this pen from Japan. It's a Japanese only color in the burgundy here. And so but they're not custom grinds. It's just kind of tuning and making them better. So I haven't really done that. Question number 7. If you could only choose one ink for the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay, so to cheat a little bit, I'm going to say anything in the Pilot Iroshizuku line, because it's wet and it's got some cool sheens. This, I think, is Rika in this pen. And I think I would choose, if I had to choose one, it would be a blue with some alternate sheen in it so that it could be sort of exciting, but not jamming up pens, shimmer, and all that kind of stuff. But also, if you needed to write some normal stuff for a normal person, it would look pretty normal as well. So kind of all-arounder. I think this is a stupid question. I don't know why you would ever pick one color for the rest of your life. But I think right now it would be this. In the past, it's been other bluish, greenish, sheeny stuff too. And I think I would default to some bluer, greenish stuff. So right now, I would say Pilot Iroshizuku Rika. Dumb question though. Dumb question. All right, and question number 8. This is an interesting one. What is an absolute deal breaker for you for pens and for inks? I'm gonna say, of course, if the nib is bad. I don't like if the nib is bad. If it's just not great to write with, I have a couple of pens that I've purchased and I've written with them and they're just not. I just don't like them. The other thing that's a deal breaker for me is, and this is probably has nothing to do with the pen as much, but I'm not going to buy knockoff pens. You're not going to see me using all that Asvine stuff and Jinhao stuff and all of the knockoff pens, made in China. I'm just not that kind of person. So if it's something like that, you're just not going to see me using it. I'm not super picky because I'm a person who wants to experiment and try everything, all the things. So there is not really hardcore deal breakers for me when it comes to pens, but those two things would be it. I just don't want it to be bad. I would say if the pen is really scratchy or if it writes really dry, those are things that I don't really like at all. And again, if it's a knockoff pen or a rip-off pen, I'm not going to use it either. As far as ink goes, I don't want my ink to feather, but I also don't want it to be dry. I want really good flow, and I want, I just want really good flow. And I know some of that has to do with the paper too, but if you use Rhodia or Tomoe River for your standard and you put the ink down and it feathers, I'm out. I don't want it at all. If you put it down and it's super dry, like some of the oranges and light browns and stuff like that will be kind of like that, I'm not going to use those as much because I want it to flow really well. And then somebody actually asked a bonus question, which I thought was an interesting one, and this might be something that you're interested in hearing too. What is one pen that everyone should have? That's easy. Lamy 2000. I think everybody should own one of these. I know people talk about the hard thing about the sweet spot, but I'm left-handed. I have no issues with it. You just have to learn it. I love this pen. I think this is it's just a pen that is usable in almost any circumstance. The nib writes like no other pen. It is absolutely incredible. It's not incredibly expensive. I think they're like, I don't know, I'll leave a link to it, but I think they're $230 or something. So for a gold nib pen, from a legacy brand that you don't have to worry about quality, that will just do the thing, I think it's reasonably priced. And, it's not cheap, but it's reasonably priced, and I think it's a thing that everybody should own. As far as kind of more budget pens or more affordable pens, the other one I think that everybody should own is a TWSBI Eco. Because again, they're so easy to get along with. They come in all kinds of colors. The nibs are awesome. And if you want to experience a fountain pen for not a lot of money, I think this one was $50, but I think the normal chrome ones that don't have all the rose gold and stuff, I think, or bronze and all, I think they're like 35 or something. So, and then you buy some bottled ink and you're off and running. And even, this is one of these pens, okay? And this is what I tell people all the time. Here's a Mont Blanc 149. You know how much these cost. They're very expensive, right? Here is a Visconti Homo Sapiens, right? These are not inexpensive pens. These are grail pens for a lot of people. In fact, they are for me. I have these pens, but I still always enjoy inking up a TWSBI Eco. I always enjoy having a Lamy 2000 inked up. And I think that for me is what makes these two pens must-haves for everybody. is no matter where you go, cost-wise, hobby-wise, whatever, I think these two pens right here you should have. So I'll give you a steel version and a gold nib version. I know that's cheating too, but we did that a couple of times, so whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, there you go. There is my 8 questions plus the bonus question and a couple of little bonus answers. If you want to do this, I don't know, do your own video and maybe post a link to it in the comments. I'd be interested to see it. Let me know what you think of my answers. I'll leave links to everything in the description. If you use those links, it'll help the channel. I know the Atlas one has a 10% discount, so that'll help you out in making some of your ink and paper and stationery purchases. And it helps out the channel a little bit too. So thank you for doing that, and we will see you in the next video.